Hi.
I still get so excited when I get it right. Hi, everybody.
How are we all? All aboard. Yes, we have a very special episode, off-week episode this week because Cody and Satori are traveling to spooky places, and I'm jealous.
They are
Very jealous.
currently in Illinois, I believe, on their way to Iowa because they're doing an event in Iowa for Iowa City Pride. So they're doing an investigation in Oskaloosa. I'm sure I didn't say that right. Iowa, at a location called Old Mercy Hospital.
That sounds so cool. I love a good haunted hospital.
Yeah, and so they're working with Michelle Roos, our other dear friend, and her friends Jake and his partner Nathan put this together every year. This is one of their big events that they love doing. So
yeah,
they decided to make a road trip out of it.
I mean, and there's so much between Rhode Island and Iowa to hit
a lot.
Like there's so much to see. We've got, look at everybody. Dale! I know Tom just gets a little wave.
Dale's probably going to be like, oh my God, who are these crazy people?
We are.
Yeah, so what's cool, so Ken obviously does this amazing show called Extremely Strange, which I'm sure all of you are familiar with. And I love it when two shows can collide because we have Extremely Strange, we have Well, That Was Weird, and there's so much cool subject matter in Extremely Strange.
1,000%, yes.
That we thought it would be, and this was Ken's idea, we thought it would be a really cool way to kind of mash the show together and take a deeper dive into some of the subject matter in these episodes.
Hey, Chris, how's it going?
Yeah.
She's in Arizona. So I'm every time I see her post, I'm like, oh, Arizona.
Yeah, so hi, Chris. Chris Timmons is, God bless her heart, one of the moderators for the Conjuring House page that Jason created. She is a busy woman, so I'm glad she's here. I love her. But yeah, so we thought it would just be kind of a neat opportunity to have Ken drop some serious knowledge on us. I, of course, have my notebook so I can take notes if needed. And then just kind of open up just have a discussion about it. And we're going to cover the Scole experiment, which is an episode he did. And then we're also going to get into something called the Phil experiment, which I didn't realize my squirrel brain thought there was an episode, but there's not. So we're going to bring the man, the myth, and the legend.
I don't know about either of these. I don't think.
I'm fascinated by Scole experiment, and I think this is going to get into a lot of thought form and tulpas and
I'm fascinated by tulpas. It's definitely not either one of them are not things that Laura and I have covered on History of a Haunting, but they have not been added to our episode list.
Well, and I think what's cool about this is, getting to obviously merge the show. It gives Ken a chance to take a deeper dive into these things, but then also one of the things I love so much about our group and our kind of this community across Dead Air is that everybody is here to learn something, which I absolutely love.
1,000%. And everybody will have an amazing perspective, in the comments. Like,
right.
It's a group conversation, which I love.
100% agree. And who better to learn from than Mr. DeCosta himself?
And you just called Dad.
I did call him Dad because I got a text message from my dad as I'm talking and my brain is all over the place. So I was like, well, it's okay because technically we always call him our paranormal dad. So I said, okay, Dad, it's been a week. So without further ado, let's bring on the man, the myth, the legend himself, Mr. Ken DeCosta. Welcome to the show on your own channel.
Where is he?
Talking about the paranormal tonight.
Well, everybody loves Extremely Strange. I mean, I know for me, a lot of times, like because we walk a lot up here, and if I'm not with Jen, then I walk by myself. I just throw my earbuds in, and I load up a bunch of Extremely Stranges, and I just listen to it when I walk. So it's great.
Yeah, I listen to it. Yeah, when I dash.
I've even got my dad watching them. Because my dad, I have to tell the story, Ken. So I went down there for my birthday, and we went to dinner, and my dad happened to call, and he was like, hey, can you put me on the phone? I have a couple of questions for Ken. And I'm thinking this will be like a 5-minute conversation. What was it, like an hour?
Yeah, pretty close.
And he was like, that was great, because Dad had a lot of questions, and he had, because he knew about a lot of the things that, we all talk about as far, especially like the UFO stuff and those kinds of things. And so Ken got interviewed by my dad.
Love it.
Yeah, he was absolutely delightful, though. And pretty, you know what? Pretty knowledgeable. He was pretty impressive, So I was able to skip ahead with him,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just get into some meat and potatoes about the whole thing. So
he had the best
was
time.
fun. I'm looking forward to talk to him again, to be honest with you. I'll set aside the time.
Yeah, clear out your calendar for the day. But it was funny because I think my dad's favorite quote is as follows. He's like, man, I love talking to Ken. I haven't had that much fun since the hogs ate my little sister. He did not ever have a little sister, but that's a Southern weird thing.
I have actually heard that growing up, that quote. Yeah.
That's when I know my dad's had a good time, is when he says that.
Right.
So we thought, what a cool idea to smash the two shows together, let Ken drop some knowledge, and just see where we end up. Oh, Mary Beth wants to know who's in the background tonight. Nobody. I am your moderator / host for the evening.
I have a vortex over my head here that's trying to suck me up into another realm here, but
and I have dogs that are fighting over treats. So,
well, it's a good thing I have Dawn's number. So if you get up too high, I'll tell her to come pull your feet down out of the ceiling.
My office has gone from like I need ACs and fans to like it's actually kind of chilly in here tonight.
I know, I love it. I got up this morning, it was 49 degrees. I was all, I need to get a hoodie.
It was 33 this morning.
I'm not doing any pumpkin anything though until the pies come. I'm an apple cider donut fan though in the fall.
Me too. I finally got my fresh ones, and it was like I couldn't even spit the words out when I got to the cider place. I was so excited. I was like, I was like, I'm sorry. 2 years. I'm just so excited. I need donuts. That's all I need. I need donuts. And she's like, okay, honey, let's just bring you over here.
I'm not one for pumpkin ravioli.
It sounds like you need more sugar, sweetheart. Come on over.
More coffee. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Seeing really quick before we get started in chat.
Sure.
Hello, everybody. A lot of familiar names in there. Surprise! The hell is he doing here? He's got his own show.
We're going to let you run have you run this portion of the show, since you're the man with all the information, all the research, and all the information.
Yeah, Dan, me too. I'm not a fan of pumpkin. I love the smell, but I'm not a fan.
Hates pumpkin.
I like pumpkin seeds, and that's where it ends for me.
Me too, yeah. I think we've had this conversation actually on the show.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the stories that you see on Extremely Strange, and my favorite was the kids driving through the Brown Mountains in North Carolina.
Yes, the Brown Mountain Lights. Yep.
Listening to UFO stories and being freaked out. Satori looking up in the sky and stuff. So my work here is done. I scared them. But the truth is that we're familiar with a lot of these stories in passing. But what I love about it is how much I learn about it by taking those deep dives and doing the research, because there's always more than just guy sees ghost.
Right. Yeah.
Very true. Very, very true. And the Scole experiments is funny. Of all the ones I've done the graphics for, that one always sticks out in my brain because I just find it all so fascinating.
Well, some of them, really cool, like being selective, are right up in your wheelhouses because a lot of it has to do with metaphysics. And,
cool.
More importantly, I guess the human condition, which is something that nobody pays attention to because we're looking at lights and recorders and SLS cameras.
Right.
So what is the human element that we introduce to these things? Mm-hmm. And that's a fascinating thing. And you guys do a great job of talking about that. The human element that's involved in what we may term the paranormal, but in our everyday lives too. So, Yeah, there's certain elements of this that I would love to get feedback on rather than, I appreciate everybody watching them. They're fun to do, but I kind of miss that discourse. It's like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? It's like that feedback that you get.
Yes.
It's nice. Well, hey, that was a great video, Ken. It's like, yeah, but what do you think about it?
Yeah.
Right.
That's true.
Right. Exactly. So where do you want to go first?
Well, I'm glad you picked the Scole experiment because we're going to talk about two different things tonight. I guess the first is contacting the spirit world, and it's going to have everything from apportation to um, spirit photography to mediumship, and everything goes into the Scole experiment. And the
Cool.
second one we'll talk a little bit about later that I find fascinating are thought forms,
Mm-hmm.
like literal beings that we can create with
Yeah.
our collective energy.
Yeah.
So we'll talk a little bit about the Scole experiment. If you folks don't mind, I'll throw the pictures up. So anyway, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take us off studio mode so you don't have to transition.
Okay.
Ken gets to take control of this part because he's smarter than me on this.
Okay, there we go. So, so here are the folks that are involved in this. Now, we had Robin and Sandra Foy. They're on the right. Robin was kind of the leader of this group, and Alan and Diana Bennett on the left. And Diana was said to have some mediumship abilities, and this wasn't one of those Victorian age things. This was from 1993 to 1998 in the village of Scole in England. And this is one of the most like well documented and of course controversial um, cases of spirit communication
Sure.
really in history. So they would invite other people over from time to time. And you even had people like the Society for Psychical Research, which
Mm.
is the oldest paranormal investigation group in the world. They're based in England.
Yeah.
And most of what they did was conducted at what they call the Scole Hole, which was a fancy word for Robin and Sandra's basement. So this is
I love that.
kind of where they did everything. So, I mean, the purpose of what they were trying to do was reach to the other side, open a door, and see who walked through. So there wasn't any particular spirit they were trying to contact. They not loved ones or anything. It's like, let's just see what happens when we reach out.
Sure.
And they were using a lot of things, but none of them had to do with tech. They were really old school.
Yeah.
You know,
Okay.
a video camera, an SLR camera, and some recorders, and a lot of notebooks. So the thing that came to it was that in the rolls of film that they took, some really unusual and weird things came through. All right,
Mm-hmm.
that's okay. We'll hang in.
She's got a barking dog. We're all too familiar with barking dogs and
I gotta
squeaky
get
toys on
these.
this show.
Sorry.
So to give you an idea, they would take these photographs in the dark, and I'm sure they used the flash, shooting at absolutely nothing. And they'd look at the roll of film, and it'd be them and walls and everything. But every once in a while, something like this would show up.
Yeah.
So
Is
that's
supposed to be one of them, or this is?
no, this is a being that appeared as they were shooting around the room. This is not one of them.
Oh,
It's
okay.
But
wild.
this character showed up on one of the rolls of film.
Right.
And to tell you, give you an idea of how far out this went, here's another being that showed up,
Wow.
Oh.
almost alien in appearance,
Mm-hmm.
Agreed.
right? So continuing on, and some of these, now the next ones I'm going to show you. Now let's do this first. And then this shows up.
On the film. This
Some
is.
writing in a
Wow.
language I'm not familiar with. I mean, I want to say it might be German.
It looks German, yeah. Like
That's what I thought with the umlaut above or whatever that word is above
uh-huh.
the U.
And then on another roll of film, this shows up.
Well, that's just gobbledygook.
Looks like a bunch of hieroglyphics or something really weird. But every once in a while, these things would show up on the rolls of film. They weren't written out. Before I get to the really freaky stuff, that's nothing. I
Sorry,
talked
Joseph.
about right. I talked about aporting, where they would go down into the basement and find crystals
Mm-hmm.
that were left on the table in between sessions. And there would be items, gifts, if you will, that nobody owned.
Yeah.
There would be medallions and there would be ribbons and there would be a lot of these objects that after wrapping up for the night, they would come down the following day and these things would be laid out on the table for them in
Wow.
perfect order. So going back to now these are still captures I'm going to show you now that were from videos.
Yeah.
So like I said, this is weird. Check this out.
Wow. That's wild.
It looks like a face in the upper right, and
Agreed.
dead center, it looks like another face. And you could probably matrix this thing to death
Sure.
and find other faces, but those are the two that immediately jump out at me.
It looks like reflections on water.
Yeah,
It does kind of look like reflections on water.
yeah, amazing stuff. And
The one in the middle is detailed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
agreed. Eyes,
And-
nose, eyebrows, mouth, hair.
here's another one that they took. Now, that's not one of them in that circle. It looks like a woman sitting next to a man with glasses,
Yeah, it does.
and that's none of them. That showed up on video,
That's...
still shot on video.
Is it weird that on the left looks like an axolotl? That little...
That's hard to say. Your guess is as good as mine.
Welcome to my brain, right?
Hey, I mean,
And on another video, this showed up.
Oh, wow.
These are people waiting at a train station.
That's
and
crazy.
this was taken in the hole.
Yeah, during the Scole
nuts.
experiments, when they would talk to spirits and contact spirits, they had things entering the room. They had balls of light that were floating all over the place. In photographs, they had what I showed you before. In videos, all of a sudden, this would suddenly pop up on one part of the video, and when they froze it, this is the kind of thing that they got. Bizarre.
It is bizarre.
That is so crazy.
So we'll wrap this part up. There is one particular spirit, though. Actually, there were a couple that were like regulars who would show up, and one of them is a former priest.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a recording that they took of a conversation with this former priest.
Good evening to you. God bless you. God bless you. I never heard such a commotion before. Such a carrying on. No, it's all right. I'm only joking.
Another voice known simply as Raj, and we didn't do that one. But that Irish brogue is the spirit that they contacted, speaking in conversation to them that they recorded.
That's so cool.
This is EVP recording?
Yes.
So like they were just talking and didn't...
Yeah, it was a recording of a disembodied voice. that was in the room with them, because obviously they can hear it because they're
They
interacting.
can hear it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That
the
is
accent, that Irish
freaking
accent
clear.
is so clear. Like,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that it's a spirit that's so engaged. Like, literally, like he's sitting in the, like you're sitting in a bar together.
Like it sounded like he was sitting right there
Right. I
with
just
him.
think that's
You
so
know.
cool. I think that's so
Okay.
cool.
Well, I don't know.
That's
I mean,
wild.
it's the power of concentrated thought. I
True.
mean, I'm not sure. I mean, they had other things going on, like tables would levitate and things like that. So we do have some photographs, but unlike the Philip experiment, which you guys will get into later, there wasn't a lot of video documentary. And see, this is where it takes a downtick, obviously, with the skeptics. Well, in a dark room, anything's possible and you can mislead somebody.
True.
But the Psychical Research Society took it very seriously. And if anybody out there wants to go look for it, they published a book on this,
Oh, really?
the Scole experiments.
Huh. That sounds really interesting because I believe I'm almost positive they were involved as well in the Enfield poltergeist. They had
Yeah,
sent somebody
yeah,
during that. So
Oh,
if they took it seriously, that to me, that lends a little bit more credibility, I guess.
hmm,
mhm.
Because they generally like poo-poo a lot of claims. Like they're not out to say that yes, everything is haunted, and we all should be aware that there's 50 ghosts in the room with you right now. They're not out to do that.
Right.
They're hardcore debunkers too. So I think that that's interesting that they took an interest in
well,
this.
that's originally why they were formed. Why they were formed in the 1880s
Yeah,
was to go after fraudulent mediums.
yeah. And Harry Price was one of them.
Right, because there was an awful lot of that. The phony
Mhm.
spirit
Yeah.
photographs and the mediums where the trumpets would fly through the air.
Yes. Right. Exactly. Like all of the people that Harry Houdini was out to.
Right. So then one of their members, Harry Price, one of the most famous investigators in history, he would go out. He was the first, to my knowledge, to take on cases
Mhm.
where he would go out and investigate these things. His most famous one being the Borley Rectory,
The Worley Rectory.
right,
Yeah.
which
Really, yeah.
doesn't exist anymore. But I am sure if anybody wants more about this, hey, go on to streaming and just do a search for a Scole experiment. Um, so it's good and bad. They do have some documentation. Of course, now this is 1998.
Yeah.
I know that it pains us to say, but that's over 30 years ago. you know, um,
That does hurt a little.
That
right?
wasn't necessary.
So everybody is always going to want more. Like, how
Right.
come you didn't have a camera showing this camera and a camera showing the camera that was showing the other camera?
Yes.
And my answer to that is not always, nice, but it's like I don't leave the house in the morning with a camera stuck up my butt.
Yeah.
Videotape
Right.
everything I do because I don't think my life's all that interesting. We do the best we can with
Yeah.
what we got.
Right.
Agreed.
Exactly. And
I-
that even if somebody did that, they're still not going to be happy. You're
Mhm.
not going to be able to please everyone or um, get everyone to, think outside the box and be like, okay, maybe there could be something to this. That's just not ever going to happen.
Right.
Yeah. So, I mean, what I wanted to get your take on, obviously, these people were on a mission,
Yeah.
and this is something that they thought they could do was open that door, and they got. I mean, it looked like they got an alien.
Yeah.
It does.
They got careful what you wish for.
So these, if you want to call them spirit photographs that showed up, dimensionally, you've got all sorts of faces coming through and everything like that.
Mhm.
I mean, we can look at it as camera artifacts, or we can look at it as an out and out hoax.
Sure.
But for the purposes of what we know, is that we can't write it off as something that's not possible.
True.
I
I
guess my
agree.
question to you is opening doors, because anybody that's done this long enough has always gotten a payoff of some type, whether it's a disembodied voice, an EVP, um, something caught on camera,
Mhm.
hopefully something caught on video.
Yeah.
But that intention to go in, and one of them, as I said, was a spirit medium, the others weren't. So when you do that, sometimes it pays off.
Hmm.
I don't know if it pays off to the extent that it did with their experiment here, but all of a sudden they found themselves being scrutinized, having the SPR come in, who would have called BS on them in a heartbeat, because
Yep.
Right.
they weren't going to waste their time. But yet they said it was credible. It went on for 5 years. That's the most important part. It wasn't a one and done thing. And they had different people come in, investigators. One of them was a gentleman named Montague Keene, who was no joke. And
Hmm.
he sat in as well. And for 5 years, I mean, that's the dream, right? To have
Hmm.
something go on for a period of time.
Sure.
Um, so I
And
just
all of these people that came in, they were able to replicate and get the same, like, were their photographs that they took the same, like, kind of situation?
right, because some of the photographs and videos were done in the presence of other people other than the four of them.
Okay.
Okay. So, I mean, it's one of the better documented, and it's like one of the more fascinating things. And these people obviously had a belief, but, you know, I'm not sure how much belief is a positive in these type of things where spirits come through, they're welcome. There was never anything malevolent. There was never
Hmm.
anything bad. I mean, you heard the recording with the priest. It was like he was having a heck of a time with them.
Yeah.
You will.
Well, we're getting. So I just want to hit on a couple of comments as they're popping up.
Yep,
Um, and like Buffy says, you're never going to make everyone a believer no matter the amount of evidence. We know that to be
that's
true.
that's fine.
Exactly. For
That,
those who believe, proof is not needed. For those who don't, there'll never be enough proof.
yeah,
And then, like Chris says, you may not be able to convince them, but you can certainly educate them. So that's pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think so too. The ones that are willing to be educated.
Correct. You have to be open. You
Yeah.
know.
A lot of people just love to sit there in their wrongness and be wrong and not even bother to, move off of that. But so, um,
it's a lot harder to prove things because
Yeah.
I could sit here and pick anything and everything apart
yeah.
Sure.
if I really wanted to.
Yeah.
Well, and
But
now with AI,
if I have to reach, it's the same thing as someone saying everything's paranormal, every little noise is paranormal.
Yeah.
yeah,
You're reaching. As a skeptic, you can also be guilty of that.
Right. On the other
Reaching
end.
reaching too far. But,
Yeah.
this is one of those things where I understand people, but it's not one of those things. The skeptics are just there in this story because they're always going to be there. The more
sure.
fascinating thing is what happened to these people. How were they able to do these things?
I wonder. I mean, because obviously we all talk about the power of, you know, healing or
Yeah,
group. There's something about group energy, right? There's like with an intention that is the same with people who wholeheartedly believe in what they're doing and are of the same mindset. So you wonder if that unified energy makes it
was able to open
not a
the door.
safe space, but makes it easier for things like that to come through.
Come through.
And you've got consistently 4, 6, however many people they had at any given time, and that's that much more energy that these spirits are able to kind of, I would assume, helped like tap into that to be able to come through that way.
Yeah.
But it, again, it all still comes back to intention, because of course these people in this experiment are learning, they're trying to get answers, but the headspace is right, if that makes sense. Like it's purely for learning, purely for discovering, purely for knowledge's sake. And I think when you have the intention lined up with the right kind of energy, I think all kinds of amazing things can happen.
I think it bears mentioning that I'm sure a lot of the people who attended, other than them, were looking for some kind of hoax or, something along those lines. They wanted it to be proven to them.
Right.
Yeah.
And it happened in their presence.
Mm-hmm.
And they brought their own film, some of them. It's like, I just bought this film at a store, put this in your camera.
Yeah.
And things would certainly show up. It seems to me from 10,000 feet that most of the people who criticize it never were there.
Right.
They're just looking at what we looked at tonight. Does that sound familiar to anybody?
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just a bit. Yeah. It is fascinating because, of course, being there is a fully different experience. And I think, again, this was 1998, so it's not like they were trying to rack up YouTube views, and they weren't certainly getting a documentary on the Travel Channel. Like, this was literally experiment for experiment's sake and for furthering the field. And, again, we've hit this so many times, but I think it always bears repeating. You have to be willing to learn and take in what you're picking up and what's happening in that space. And like, I think that also adds to it. Like when they're doing these sessions over a 5-year period, the belief in what's happening and the results that they're getting are consistent. I think it also makes it easier for spirits to come through because the energetics are already there. Like every time they go into the skull hole, same intention, nothing changes. It's a pure intention. And I think that makes a huge difference.
And it's more solidified every time they do it. And so that trust, that reciprocal trust is built. So
agreed.
They're more comfortable being, having these spirits come in. I would imagine the spirits are probably feeling the same way, or whatever those beings are.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like it from those pictures. It looks like it was a blend of other things too.
Agreed. Well, and like the film with the hieroglyphics, I think Mary Beth. Yeah, she's like, is it Mayan? Is it Egyptian? I mean, it could be so many different things, but the fact that it just keeps happening. But I think the picture of the guys, of the people standing in a line in what appears to be a subway station, like it's one thing to get the images of people for one in a roll of film, but to also get a background,
you could tell where they were
anywhere. Clearly, it's like a subway, train station, something. But so I think, to your point, Carrie, the reciprocal trust, the consistency of what's happening.
Yeah.
Does that give them that much more of energetic power or whatever it is to be able to show more?
I don't see why not, because we all know that they've got to take energy from something to be able to manifest.
Correct.
So if there's that much collective energy, depending on how many people are in the room or what have you, I would imagine it would be easier for them to portray an image on film. And like, what if that was a memory?
True. Good point.
Could they put that, a memory of theirs? Memories retain energy too.
Of course.
So
it is interesting.
So many thoughts.
I know, so many rabbit holes to dive down.
Oh my God, yeah. Like
one thought is that what you put out, you get back, which is something that both of you espouse, because you heard that, and there are more audio clips than that.
Yeah.
there are more.
Yeah.
But you notice they were having just a hell of a time laughing at the characters that showed up, and that is not the only quote unquote character.
Yeah.
Right.
Showed they got teased, they got laughed at, they got laughed with, but obviously there was an environment that they created as humans that was welcoming, which I mean, and the next question that that brings me to is, are some places or some people lighthouses for
I
this
think
stuff?
so.
Now you can believe or not believe in the paranormal. There are people who don't believe in the paranormal that have had the most bizarre things happen to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like we've asked Zaffis, we've asked James Long, do you have to be religious to have a negative attachment or something? No, you don't. You don't have to be a believer.
Yeah.
Um,
Right.
so these things can happen to you, but so this is why I say, are some people perhaps, and maybe they don't need psychic ability, but are they a lighthouse? Are they a beacon for this type of thing? Or maybe they do have some gift they're not aware of, and spirit just says, I see it in you. So
Yeah.
I'm going to bug the shit out of you tonight and, and get my point across. So, yeah, I'm curious where you guys go. Where, I'm not talking about people who say, oh, I'm a ghost magnet. Yeah, all right, dude, whatever.
You
I'm
wish
talking
you were.
about, right. I'm talking about legitimately where there is some kind of beacon that goes out. Maybe it's an aura, maybe it's a vibe, maybe it's emotions that some people just have more of a tendency to have these things happen to them,
Mm-hmm.
which is why, they put out friendly, they got friendly back. They put out they were laughing at all the right jokes and they got jokes back. So there was one other thing on my mind, remember, but this was almost like a camera can only take a picture of what the naked eye can see, unless you're talking infrared camera or something
Sure,
like
right.
Right.
that. There are cases, there's another ES on one of these called the Ghost Rider, where it
Mm.
seems that spirits imprinted on film.
Right.
I mean, film that's a third party brought who just bought at the store, loaded it in the camera so there was no hanky panky going on, and the messages, the writing came through on it. So when you're talking about the train station and all these faces,
Yeah.
this is not a new, what I'm saying is this is not a new phenomenon.
Right. Right.
The
Right.
ability to imprint
Mm.
thought or a time slip or something
Yeah. Time slips are
onto
super cool. We
onto
should talk about those.
We
Another
have to
time.
have a time slip episode because that is one of my most favorite things in the world.
Me too.
When you ask, like when you're talking about like the, people being more of a kind of a beacon for that. I mean, I've always said I think we almost kind of glow a little. Those of us who are sensitive to spirit, I've always said we kind of like glow differently. Like I don't know if if your average aura to a spirit may look like a white light, and maybe some of us are like glitter and disco color.
Ooh, or whatever.
But it's almost, I think there are people, and I think like amplifiers. I think there are those of us who are amplifiers of energy in spaces.
Yeah.
I know, like for me, I didn't know I was a bit like that, where you can kind of, I think a lot of us are that way, but we don't really know it, right? Like until things start happening. I mean, look at Cody, for example.
As we start like really like studying it and really getting into the whys and the wherefores. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think there are people that spirits are drawn to more. And like, is it the vibe? Is it your, general disposition? Like, is it aligning with your soul on some level that, that energy recognizes your soul's energy? Like, I think anytime there's a connection, like, huh?
You hit the nail on the head with that one.
Yeah. And I think also if you've got somebody like that in the room, I've also wondered if there's less friction, if that makes sense, energetically. Because I mean, obviously, we've all been places where you don't get a lot, and maybe that's because there's not a lot there, or maybe your energy doesn't resonate with the spirit's energy. But I think if you find a place where you are picking up a lot of energy, is it because your energy matches their vibration, so there's less friction? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, so it's easier for them to have those conversations or get through the messages or the downloads or the film or
whatever whatever way they're trying to say or express whatever it is they're trying to express. I get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's fascinating. And I wonder too, with like having done this over 5 years, because of course we're going to get into thought forms and like tulpas and that kind of thing. But I think what's fascinating about the Scole experiments is it's not like you had the one spirit every time. You had a whole bunch of different spirits over this 5-year period of time. And the thing that was consistent, I mean, obviously you had your priest, you had some, regular customers, for lack of a better phrase, but the fact that you had other things coming through, what looks like galactic and because some people are like, that's nightmare fuel. And I'm like, oh my God, I love that face.
I know. I was like, that is not a human spirit.
Mm-mm.
That is for sure not.
But over 5 years, to have that many different things coming through, that many different kinds of activity coming in, to me, that shows a consistency in the energy of both the space and the people that they're bringing in. Just to have that kind of variety, I think also lends some credibility to the experiments themselves. Because it's not like every time, Father Joe came in and talked about, Irish jokes and that. I mean, you had, the train station thing, you had the priest, you have, these galactic images, you've got all these weird hieroglyphic-y looking things on the film. And it's like, okay, so the consistency is the location, the energy within it, and the people within it.
Yeah. And it could very well be that maybe that medium, like Aaron, that's one of my favorite descriptions because it's the one that I seem to immediately have like resonated with the most, is Aaron saying that, we just glow differently to them. And I think that there are a lot of us that maybe, we're empaths, we can sense the energy in a room, or maybe we're not like mediums. Maybe we don't like do have as many abilities as others, but there are people who are very empathic, just to, just to have that normal human emotional ability.
Yep.
So, and those are people that others tend to like pour their heart out to, like a perfect stranger. I've had so many people like in bars or movie theaters or wherever I'm at it, like busy events, Disneyland, wherever, people just, I'm standing in line with chit-chatting and they just start telling me all kinds of things. And I think that there's a lot of us that people just seem to open up to more easily. So why would it be any different for spirits to do that?
Well, I don't think it has anything to do it. It might be physical appearance. People are attractive, but some people just give off that vibe where they're approachable.
Yeah.
You just get a thing where it's just kind of like, they look so friendly. They look so nice.
Yes.
I think I'm just going to smile and, maybe we can, like there are some people, maybe they've got their grandchild with them. I'm like, hey, how you doing? And there are other people might have their child or grandchild, significant other, that I just feel like I got to do a little bit more. Hey, how's your, wow, it's beautiful out here, isn't it? So it's weird, but some people you just don't have a problem engaging with.
Yeah.
Not to the point where you're stalking them. Don't get me wrong.
Right. There's always a line.
Rather than just nodding your head, you feel like you gotta just do a little bit more. So if we carry over all these characteristics to the other side and our personalities, why the hell not? The one thing, and I can't prove this empirically, but in our group, the closer we are as a group personally now, away from the ghost hunts where we're hanging out, we're going to dinner, we're doing all this fun stuff.
Away from the shows, the
more phenomena we seem to get.
True.
That's very true.
Yeah.
And this is what, so obviously these four people get along. So they kicked it off, got the ball rolling, and got paid off for their efforts. Once that happened, and they established themselves as someone, that beacon we're talking about, that you can come in, all are welcome.
Right.
It didn't matter that they brought in others.
Right.
As long as they were there, there was a feeling of comfort and safety,
Right.
that you could engage. So
Yeah.
again,
that reciprocal trust.
yeah. So again, we talk about the ghost, the ghost, the ghost, the ghost. But
Right.
where do we fit in to all of this? With our intention and our personality and our vibrations and our frequency and what we're bringing to the table.
Right.
Yeah.
To me, that's the question that more people have to ask. What do we have to do with it? Because I got to talk to somebody, right?
Right. Well, I wonder too, like I know with, a lot of my experiences at the farm, and of course I always talk about the farm as far because I don't have a lot of other.
Right. Yeah. That was your first dip in.
It's kind of the place, I spent the most
Yeah.
time. But I think too, in some of my experiences, when you're open to this stuff and I think for a lot of humans, there is spirits trying to teach a lesson too. Like, maybe your energy resonates for a reason because you have similar trauma or you went through similar experiences or
their soul just recognizes yours.
Right. So I think too, you also have to be open to any lessons that spirit is trying to teach you. And maybe it's one of those things that you haven't experienced, but you don't figure the lesson out till like 6 months later. Right. Like, and then one day it clicks. It's like, oh, but I think a lot of times, whether they're coming in just to hang out and shoot the shit, like, the priest or whatever, I just think they're all, I feel like on a lot of levels for spirits, it would be a waste of time to come down here all the time. I think a lot of them know that they can teach us something. And if you're open to that, it can change your life. It can change your perspective on, like, I know for me, a lot of what I've learned about the paranormal is I no longer fear death. I used to be absolutely terrified of death. And so to know and learning from spirits and having all these different experiences and conversations, whether it's at the farm or it's through, these live investigations that I've gotten to do with Rise Up, there's a lesson in it for all of us. It's just, are you paying attention? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about that too, is like, we are all souls here to learn lessons while we're here. And we just recognize each other. Like, Erin, when we first met, we got on like a house on fire immediately from the get-go. It's because our souls recognized each other. Do we remember how, why, when, where? No, we're not supposed to. We're not going to until we get back up into the light. But I think you're right. I think sometimes they come down here to just hang out. They're not attached up there. Once they get up there, they can't not leave. They can come and go as they please.
Right.
Yeah.
There are others that are more traumatized that prefer to stay down here. Like, they don't want to go into the light, and that's a whole other show probably. But but yeah, they can come and go and visit. My grandmother is here all the time. She's not here all the time, but generally when I'm having some sort of crisis and I've lost something, my grandmother is here now. So they have much more freedom than a lot of people think, and they're not stuck here.
Right.
So
Ken's like, preach it, sister. Here we go. Let's go down this rabbit hole.
I mean, they're not, and it's a misnomer to think that they're stuck here. They're not, and they can literally go wherever they want to go and be with whoever they want to be with. If they feel that friends, family, and loved ones are, grieving pretty hard, they can be there to comfort them, even if the person doesn't know that they're there. And it's a really wonderful knowledge that's how souls interact. And I think that, like with this experiment that they were doing, it just started with, maybe some spirits recognizing some souls in that room. And
For
from there,
all we know, it could have been done as a joke. I mean, I
True.
think they
it
were
could have been exactly.
some of the greatest discoveries have been made. Some of the greatest things that we've ever documented is because we
Of
put a
a
camera in
mistake,
the
an
wrong
error,
room.
or
It's
whatever.
not right. It's not because, oh my God, you're so brilliant.
We
You
knew,
know,
figured it
I
out.
wish,
Yes.
it's just right place, right time, dumbass, stupid
Mhm.
luck. But that's I'd rather be lucky than good, right?
Right, exactly.
Right.
You
Well, and
know,
I think it's almost like you said, maybe it was a joke, or maybe they were just messing around, but it's kind of like a positive spin on fuck around and find out, like where you
Kind
know
of,
what I mean?
yeah.
Like they do this is like, haha, let's see if we can connect with, and all this stuff starts happening, and it's like, well, wait a minute, now we're onto something. And if they hadn't have tried it,
all I can
we
think of
wouldn't
is
be
the
discussing this.
Ghostbusters in the New York Library when the ghost shows up and
Yeah.
Jason says, "What do we do now?" I don't know. We never got this far.
Yeah, exactly.
Um,
But it,
Yes, exactly.
yeah, I mean, in this particular case, and what I loved about it, not that well, all that techno stuff was available to
Yeah,
some degree, but they just decided that less was more, which is a philosophy I agree with
I do too.
wholeheartedly.
I do too.
Mhm.
I mean, they had their camera. Eventually, they had video. They didn't say, they invited people and somebody showed up. Hey, you mind if I run video? Yeah, we don't care. Hey, can I buy the film for it? Yeah, I don't care. Is it okay if we use my camera to take pictures? Yeah, I don't care.
Yeah.
So that tells you something that they were convinced of the legitimacy to the
Yeah,
point it's like, you guys do whatever you want to do.
It
You
just
know,
bolsters our position.
you
Yeah.
know,
exactly.
I'm just telling you that, these are the kind of things that happen down here. So those things are done with intent. But
Yeah,
again, like you, people say residual, I say ghost.
Yeah.
People say intelligent, I say spirit.
Yes.
Spirits have free will. Ghosts are the ones who walk through walls and don't pay
yeah,
any attention to you.
yeah.
True.
You
That's
know,
energy that's been imprinted on a
yeah.
space. Yeah.
And it's an important distinction as well.
Yes.
I think that's very important. Are we at a spot where I can pull up a question or two?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is that okay? But
You
because I
want
know we're gonna get to the
Yeah, the Philip thing is
platform.
the Philip thing will be the opposite end of the spectrum,
Ooh, cool.
where you invited something on this and now you created something on the other end. So that's pretty cool case too. So
I know I'm super excited about that. So I know
It's gonna be fun.
it's really only one question because I think we answered
I
Mary
think you
Beth's
did.
already.
Is it
Um,
James' question?
quelle est la
yeah, James's
question?
question: why do
Why did
they
they
choose
choose
you with an
you?
experience or an encounter? Which I think is a really good question. Anybody want to take that first? I
Mm,
can hit that one at the end with my response.
I think it's just your receptors, James,
Yeah.
um, because I think that there are probably obviously there are a lot of things going on all around us and we're not privy to it. So I think sometimes our own human limitations, obviously we can't see ghosts. I mean, I can't anyway.
Right.
I can't hear their conversations. So we have those human limitations
Mm-hmm.
put on us in terms of choosing someone. I think that there are two things in place there. One is projection and one is perception. They project a certain image
Mm-hmm.
or thought of themselves, and we receive it and perceive whatever that is. I mean,
True.
this is why people in their 80s show themselves as being 18 years old sometimes. There's a lot of cases of that happening.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Henry
But
at
I
the
think,
farm was that way too.
yeah.
He didn't always appear the same age.
So, I mean, it could be a familial thing,
Mm.
and that's why you're chosen. That someone's just come back to give a message, and sometimes they do it in subtle ways that you have to interpret it because they have limitations too.
Right. Exactly. And Aaron and I have said it a million times on the show. We're going to keep saying it a million times on the show, but they already know our intention. So if you are the one that's chosen to have an experience or an encounter or whatever, it's probably because they know your intention, and they just
Yeah.
it's a good one. It's not, you don't have sketchy vibes or whatever you want to call it.
Right.
I think intention has a lot to do with it as well. So,
Right.
I mean, if
And
you were going in there to, do
James, I'm not going to
whatever.
make up something for you, because I can't give you a definitive, like, this is why ghosts do this. And,
Right.
and if anybody,
Right.
run from them. Well, I know what ghosts think and I know what they do. Just run from those people.
Right.
The idea is, if there is a dimensional type of thing, there may come a point where those dimensions, even if it's for just the very, very smallest of times, intersect, bisect, or cross. Maybe that's the time you have an experience. Does it do it all the time?
Yeah.
Sadly, no.
Yeah.
Right.
But that is just as good an explanation as I can give you that, you're probably psychic, James. You have this, it's like, dude, I don't know you, so I'm not going to put that on you.
Right.
You know?
Well,
James,
We don't diagnose stuff here.
right. Get an 800 number. Get a hotline. Quick.
You're right. Leo. No, I think like my response to James would be, and of course I'm gonna end up being that person. It's like, stop talking about this one experience, but like my experience with Ann Richardson, right? That started off terrible, where there was a lot of fear and stuff, and then in working with Michelle Roos, it was like, you apparently she's mad, but there's a reason that she's interacting with you. There's a bigger, you have to find common ground.
Yes, and it's there to find.
And it's there to find. So it was up to me to work with Anne. And I think for Anne, where our common ground is that we both had, my first marriage was terrible. And I don't think her marriage to Noah was great either. And I think in working with Anne, it was a situation of like, okay, it was on me to tell her that modern women have much better options in dealing with
a bad marriage,
or or a shitty wife, or whatever it is. Like, in those relationships, women have a lot more freedom to handle a domestic abuse or whatever that looks like.
Well, yeah, it's a different time than what she,
and giving her kind of a voice that she didn't have, that because clearly she was big mad with me. The last thing you want to hear on that farm is get her the hell out of here, basically. But
yeah, there's a lot of anger in that little woman.
She was big mad. But again, I think the reason of course, it wasn't Anne that chose me first, it was Noah. But at the same time, there's no accident or coincidence with it being Noah, then morphing it into Anne, and then it being me and Anne, and telling Noah to stay the hell out of my condo so I can work with Anne specifically. Like, I was doing dumb shit like, Anne, I'm going for a walk. Bernie and I are going to the beach. You want to come? Anne, I'm going to meditate. You want to come? Like, it was a consistent effort on my part to help her understand how much things have changed, that I'm not a threat,
and build that trust
for women now, and it's okay to have a voice. Like, and I'm still on a mission at some point to find more information about Anne, because her story hasn't fully been told.
No, and that's going to be a good one too. That's going to be a good story.
Yeah, I mean, but to me now, it's become, I'm scared to death of this woman, but now I have a responsibility to Anne to get that information out. So and maybe that's a reach, but that's how it feels to me. So that's how I'm just going to operate with it.
And let's be clear, guys, not every attachment is going to go this way. So somebody in the comments said that they had an attachment. If you get into, don't be like, let's try to understand this thing.
Yeah.
No.
I would look
that because she reached out to somebody very powerful that could help.
Right.
Yeah.
James, aren't you glad you asked that question now? Because
James, I'm going to rabbit holes.
No, I'm going to circle back to James now. So, can people be targeted? Of course. There's a message for you, yes. But for all you know, James, they've tried to target you 10,000 times, and once they got through.
Yeah. Good point.
You know what I'm saying? Because
Mhm, for
everything
sure.
just lined up, and it's like, thank God you finally heard me, so
Yeah.
you could have a message for you, and they're just trying and trying and trying, and it's like anything else, eureka, everything
Yeah.
kind of lines up.
And that's not anything negative on you. Like, come on, guys.
Yeah.
Living a human life is hard. It's busy. There's like so much going on that it really isn't our fault that it takes 10,000 times for them to get through to us because there's so much other stuff going on all the
Right. And unless you're an elemental or something like that,
time.
spirit world, they knew what it was like to be human too.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So they
Well, I
get it.
wonder, like,
They get it.
when people get, scratched at a location. Like I got my first scratch from a spirit at Johnny's museum, right?
And you
But I
want
knew
me to
it.
go there.
I knew it wasn't like, oh my god, I got scratched as a demon. It was like, to Ken's
Your
point, like,
attention?
was she trying to tap me on the shoulder? Was she trying to talk to me and I didn't hear it? And she kept like, okay, well, tapping didn't work. Maybe I can try and push her. Like,
Oh.
ramping up the energy to get your attention. And just because you got scratched or pushed or it doesn't always mean something bad. Maybe they, like, if you ever watched the TV show Ghost, specifically.
So she tried the air horn, right?
But I
Hey,
think
over here.
that's perspective too. I think it's like, okay, you don't have to assume because you got scratched. And I've said that to people like at the Conjuring House and other places. I'm like, just because you had an interaction, you got pushed or something, it doesn't instantly mean that a demon's going to call you home.
Right.
It may be they tried a million other ways, like on Ghosts. They do a very good job of showing how hard it is for a ghost spirit to manifest in the physical realm.
I love that show so much.
Oh my god, I do too. That scene with the vase in the British version where he's like, yeah, and it moves like a half a centimeter.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what's important because, yes, I got scratched, but it was a wedding dress that was standing behind me. A woman died on her wedding day behind the church.
There's a lot of bride ghosts out there.
Yeah, so I think it's just a matter of, like having a bit of perspective. Not everything is a demon and not everything's out to hurt you. Somebody might just be trying
to get my attention. And oh my God, she's learned how to use an air horn. I'm so screwed here now.
It would make it easier though if they could use an air horn, honestly.
I mean, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do we
Let's get into the other one?
Before we'll move on to Philippe because I don't care how late we stay. I got nothing to do.
Same.
Anybody else
just
in there?
Wait till midnight when Taylor Swift's new album drops.
Yeah. Anybody else in there rattling around before we move on? And
do we have? Did we get all the questions?
I think we got all the questions because I know Mary Beth won. I think we
can circle back later.
Answered that. Yeah, I think we're all caught up on questions. I think we're good there.
Okay.
All righty then.
Cool.
All right. So if you guys want to, we'll talk about the Philip experiment. 1972.
Yes, I love that. I actually, you guys go on, but Aaron, if you can pull me down off screen, I've got to go help my son with something real quick. I'll be right back. I'm so sorry, you guys.
You're fine.
Okay. We'll talk real slow.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Thanks. Because I don't.
All right. So Carrie knows a little bit about this. 1972, going back a little further, Toronto, Canada. Toronto Society for Psychical Research, and there was a mathematician who had this idea that he wanted to bring a group of 8 people together to see if they could create a ghost just by using their collective consciousness to find out if this was possible. Now, we know it as things like tulpas, where a thought form is you are so focused that you literally create an entity.
Right.
And they call them tulpas. And this is going to be an interesting conversation when this gets done, because what human beings are capable of bringing in. We talked about intention. I can't wait to get to that. But, anyway, he had bookkeepers, artists, tradespeople, all sorts of people from society. And before they even started, they created a character. what shall we call this spirit? And they settled on Philip Aylesford. This is what they were going to call
He
this.
sounds very upper class.
Yes. So they invented a complete life story for Philip. He was a 17th century Englishman. He had a tragic biography. So literally, they wrote as if you were writing a novel and
Sure.
you introduced a character.
Mm-hmm.
They gave him a backstory before they even had their first session. So they focused on Philip as if he was real and they were talking to him. He asked questions during, and they did hold seances. Let me give you this was the crew that sat down and decided to conduct these things. So they did seances and table tipping and all the rest of those things. So they used a lot of metaphysical, a lot of old timey type stuff. Again, 1972, nobody had SLS cameras and everything like that.
Right.
Eventually, and we can put a pin in this for later, they did try this with inventing other figures, and they did have some success with it.
Mm-hmm.
But Philip stands out. So they had what you would call classic seance things happen.
Mm-hmm.
There was rapping. There were one tap for yes, two taps for no, that type of thing. Tables vibrating and lifting. There were cold spots and breezes and sounds and all sorts of other things that happened, which kind of gave them the idea that whatever we're doing here, this is working. So eventually they described Philip, and this is what Philip looked like. He was an aristocratic Englishman, middle 1600s at the time of Oliver Cromwell.
Oh,
He
wow.
had been a supporter of the king, and he was a Catholic. He was married to a beautiful but cold and frigid wife, Dorothea, the daughter of a neighboring nobleman. So some of this would come from what they invented about him.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it would come from the yes and no questions. So
Oh.
Philip began to tell his own story.
That's so crazy.
To them. So this is an example of, a seating,
Mm-hmm.
just as you'd suspect, and everybody's got their hands on the table. And again, a mathematician did this, guy of science and everything, but there was always this idea, can we create an entity just by thinking about him, giving him a story, giving him life, in other words.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to play a video for you here, and you all can look at it out there. It's about a minute, 10 seconds or so.
Yeah.
But they did turn the cameras, and there's a documentary on this. I suggest we're going to talk about it. You go out and find it. But this is a typical Philip session.
Would you like to see Dorothea lately? No. No. Didn't you love Dorothea in your time?
No.
That was too. Yes, we need them louder. Philip, come on, do it louder. Not much louder. Philip, did you like Dorothea? That's good. Did you love Margot? Margot.
Oh, yes.
Yes. Say it again. Did you love Margot? Good.
Oh, come on, now you can do, Philip. Come on. There are more options than that. Come on. They want you to move. You moved before. They want you to
That's so cool.
So table. Now there are other. This table's like a foot off the ground. It's spinning around. So make of that what you will. But at the end of the day, intention or thought forms, it is possible. And they didn't do this overnight, of course. They had to keep
Sure.
plugging away on it. But it seems to be on the surface that they were able to create a physical entity who intruded on the physical world
Mm-hmm.
by just creating it in their own minds.
Yeah.
Or maybe they opened a door and someone came through.
Mm.
But he did acknowledge himself as Philip.
Yeah.
So
I think that
I'm not talking anymore. That's it.
well, because talking about the tulpas, if I remember right, I think Kindred Spirits did an episode where they were investigating a location, and they did exactly that. They made up a story about this spirit, and I don't remember if it was a male or female. I don't remember the backstory, but they were talking about it, Amy and Adam, just over and over again, reiterating the same information, and then were able to basically validate that their thought form created this, and this entity started interacting and have, EVPs and all that kind of stuff. And I do find it fascinating. And you have to wonder about like different locations, different places, by the intention that everybody has. Like for I'll just throw like Robert the Doll out there, right? Like, am I going to go to Key West and go visit Robert the Doll? Probably not. Because I don't really want to run the risk of playing with that. But you have to, I wonder in situations like a Robert the Doll and, other famous dolls, I'm sure they're haunted to begin with, but how much more powerful are those things amplified and made based on the thousands of people going in and touring and being scared to death and absolutely convinced that, this entity is going to cause a car wreck or kill my family, like whatever it is, it's going to be, it's interesting to see like how much power is actually that object and that spirit, and how much of it is people's intention and belief behind it. Like how much does that amplify? Like, I don't know of a way to measure that. I don't think there is one.
I know, right? That would be cool if we could come up with a way to measure that. But let's take, for example, you brought up Robert the Doll. Let's take, for example, the hell are their names? Sam and Colby, when they went to the Conjuring house and they did that week-long thing, and they were going around the house, and there's that replica of Robert the Doll on a shelf in the Conjuring house, and all the comments were like, "Hi, Robert, I'm so sorry. I do not claim this bad energy." Robert, there was hundreds, if not thousands, of comments aimed at that doll.
And we were
it
like,
wasn't even the doll. It
and
was a replica.
Just for the record, and Ken knows because he's seen that doll too, that Robert the Doll is like this big.
Right.
Yeah, and the real
He's
one
a little
is
guy.
like the size of a human child.
Exactly.
We have had the real Robert the Doll on Dead Air.
Yes, you did. I remember that.
A couple of years back, his handler, we went in to put the cameras in East Martello Museum, and we were just kind of panning around Robert. Robert is
big.
Robert's a good-sized boy.
Yeah. Mary Beth had can I ask a question? Mary Beth had a question.
Yeah.
And I guess this is about Philip. What if he was real and they were able to pick up the information he pushed to them?
Well, what happened is they created this character before they had their first seance to see if they could literally create this character. And then things started happening, the raps on the table and so forth. And when they were able to have a conversation through the banging, they weren't doing any EVPs back then.
Right.
He was acknowledging his name was Philip. He was acknowledging when he was born, and he gave them more information.
Right.
Things they hadn't made up. He whatever this was, went one step further.
So in a follow-up to that, Buffy asks, but couldn't it have been any spirit? And it says, okay, I'm just going to play along and answer to Philip.
Absolutely.
Yeah. That's what a lot of folks are.
Right.
some
So
weird spirit. Yeah, like
right. So that is absolutely a possibility, and why not?
Right.
So my question to y'all is, when you go into certain places, asylums, and Carrie, you've had a lot of experience with this. There's just a different vibe because of two things. Number one, if you know what went on there, it already brings you down.
yeah,
But from another standpoint, if you didn't even believe in this stuff and you did go in there, there is still a vibe
Yeah.
nonetheless
yeah,
because of the things that went on there and the trauma and everything everybody experienced. It's not, I'm not saying creating a spirit. We'll get to that in a minute.
yeah,
But there's already an energy there
yes,
that exists. And it's because of the things that people did
Right.
yes,
or the things people experienced.
right,
The ghosts didn't come in there.
Right.
This is what living people did to create that environment. You agree with that?
yes,
Mhm.
Okay. So now let's make up a fantasy scenario. A doll, we'll call her Annabelle because that's her name. And there are all sorts of stories about all the evil things that happen with this doll.
yes.
And then suddenly things happen and everybody runs to connect those dots. Must be Annabelle. Annabelle started the fire. Annabelle made the flood. Annabelle did,
She
you
caused
know,
a prison break.
She caused a prison break. That was my favorite.
prison break and all these horrible things. But what happens when someone who, for whatever reason, the dumbasses decide that they want to emphasize the evil? They want the fear. Fear sells. More people are going to watch my video. So I'm going to
Foundation.
go into this place that may or may not have a reputation as something dark, but I'm just going to bring my particular vibe in there because I know people are going to watch this.
Yeah.
And they go again. And even though it's a performance they're putting on,
Mm-hmm.
they're still creating this thing. And when people go in there, it passes on to them because
True.
they've seen the videos, they've heard the stories. So they come in looking for the evil witch
Yeah.
that killed her baby,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then they see that, and then the next group comes in and they're looking for the evil witch who killed their baby.
Yes,
Right.
Is it possible to actually create that character, or at the very least introduce something, I don't know what, something negative into that environment where it didn't even exist before?
I think that's absolutely possible.
I think that's absolutely possible. Yeah,
Because again, if we operate on the pretense, and I think we all agree that thoughts are things, thoughts are energy, everything is energy at the end of the day.
Yep.
You can create a tulpa that's a positive, nice, friendly, you know, like Philip. Or if the intention is we want to scare the shit out of people and we're gonna, say whatever we need to say to do that. I think it can work both ways because energy is energy, good, bad, whatever. There's the balance of the two. But I think if you can
Right.
create a positive being, you can also create something nasty and malevolent.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a recent situation like that,
You
go
sure did.
go into another time.
Mm-hmm.
But introducing danger and darkness and at a place where none exists.
Exactly.
And these kind of things make the rounds because once again, it's us, surprise, people.
Yeah.
People, we got to go piss on everything.
Make everything worse.
Never good enough.
Mhm.
Right.
We got to come up with something, and somehow it's like whether it's Ouija boards
Mm.
where there are no instructions to take it to a graveyard or light candles around it, or yeah, I mean, that's us that decides that this would be even creepier. I'm going to do this.
Yeah.
Right.
And when something happens, people freak out.
Right.
Up until
Yes.
then, guys and girls have been in the living room playing a little parlor game. Who am I going to marry? And then now,
Yeah.
all of a sudden, it's you got Satan on speed dial with you.
True. True.
Yeah.
I think the tulpa thing is really interesting because I think people underestimate the power of their own energy. They also underestimate the power of their own thoughts. And I think, you make it what you want it to be, and you get enough people on that same train, then
Yep.
off to the races
I
you go.
think one thing that I think is a perfect example of a tulpa is black-eyed kids. I think that was started as a creepypasta, and it just took such hold in the psyche of
Yep.
everybody that heard about it.
Mhm.
That then
There
they
are
were.
three. There are three. There is that one. There is Hat Man, and there is Slender Man.
Slender Man.
Slender Man got so bad that those two teenage girls
Tried to kill
tried
her.
to kill their friend to pay homage to him. The girl
Yes.
survived, thank God.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's another extremely strange, no shameless plug, but if you've never heard about it and you
Yes.
want the idiot's version of it, go find it.
Yeah.
It's a much longer story.
Yeah.
But these are the type of things that that it's possible to do, which is why I do think that you can't write off a spirit comes through and they're fill up and everything. But this is why I do have a level in belief that they did manage somehow to create an entity
Yeah.
from
Right.
a thought form, because we've been in situations before that I am convinced that people created, sometimes we like to say they brought in. Well, you'd have to define that. It's not like it jumped in a car with them, but they have brought in something that just seems to overtake
Yeah.
everyone, even other spirits in that location who suddenly find themselves stymied or reined in by a much more powerful entity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Yep.
all makes my brain explode a lot of
It
times.
does. And Buffy said that it's Reddit and all their creepy pastas, it creates hysteria. That's true too. Look at the dancing plague of 15 whatever the hell.
Yeah.
Like, it's just that tell you, man, it's energy that's just manipulated in such a specific way that then these things become their thoughts.
Well, generationally, you saw in 1972, they created an English nobleman, a distinguished figure with a beard and everything. What do you think they would create now?
A demon.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be some, hey, he's a swell guy.
Right.
Let's see if we can, manifest a swell guy.
Yeah, but that just shows you how much things have changed and how far away we've gotten from history, giving a shit about the spirits in a location, their life stories.
Right, yeah.
Like we've gotten away from that. Now it's, and I understand, like, we have our own show. Like, you want people to see, the things that you're putting out there, but at what cost? Right? Like,
right.
To and I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. Feel free to shut me up. But to me, yeah, right. It's like, I think if you're willing to go so far to create things to scare people on purpose just to increase your subscribers, your viewers, whatever, I have a problem with that.
What's the price though? Because
Right.
I asked this question. I don't know who I asked. Maybe John. With all the videos and all this emphasis on performing in evil and everything like that, do you think this is having an effect on the spirit realm?
Oh, absolutely.
You know what's going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I would imagine that it is. People
Well, look at
prefer the terrifying.
Yeah.
They prefer the terrifying. Like,
yeah.
Okay. What? Like, now, okay. It's all the movies. It's all, it's all of the, The Conjuring is one of my favorite ever film franchises.
Mm.
But it is, it's dramatized versions of real events.
Yeah.
Because we know as investigators that typically this shit's kind of boring sometimes, most of the time.
True story.
You know what I mean? Like, we're not getting all this stuff that you see in movies and TV.
Yeah.
These things that, like, the Ed and Lorraine Warrens of the world are few and far between.
True. Yeah.
Everybody wants experiences like that.
Yeah. Well, and at the farmhouse, we always would discuss, as we're going through the house, and when we got into they call it the seance room now, but for the parents, it was the dining room. We always hit fact versus fiction when it came to Hollywood. And one of the first things we always said is that the movie is only maybe 5 to 10% accurate. Andrea would say it's our likenesses and our names. And of course, there are a couple things in that movie that did in fact happen. But again, it's all Hollywood, and they've got to sell a movie, and nothing's going to...
Exactly, because people aren't going to go to a movie where it was,
Right. And I get it. They got to make money, and I...
But it's kind of in the real world. Isn't it counterintuitive, though? Because the messages that we get, and I fully, extend, my appreciation to Cody and Satori for giving us more personal message. It's counterintuitive for people who are suddenly reunited with their family, and that person who is sick isn't sick anymore. Everyone is whole, which is good to hear.
Yeah.
The 4-year-old spirits are still 4-year-old forever. Wonderful, marvelous. And then we get this other thing thrown at them. So they must be saying, that's not how it is.
Right.
We're not coming up out of the graves to, and I understand. Listen, since God, Nosferatu, I don't know what the first horror movie, there's always been horror movies because
for sure.
People like being scared, and then they're not scared.
Yes, 1,000%.
Right, and they're safe. So I totally understand that, but I am talking about, I guess, the paranormal field, the research has turned on its head, and I feel like we've lost. I mean, maybe we can get it back, but in dealing with actual people who have passed over, I mean, I can tell you from my own little part of the world that they're not liking it.
No.
They're not liking people going in and saying, "Oh, there's something evil and dark here," and they're like, "Are you freaking kidding me?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, I can't hurt you. I don't want to hurt you.
Well,
right. Go ahead, Erin.
I was just going to say, I think that's part of the reason why I've loved kind of being able to be included with Rise Up, is because, and I think when you showed the video of the seance, and you've kind of hit on it earlier, when a group that is very close outside of the ghost stuff, like you said, we do birthdays together, we have, cookouts together, we, that is a relationship that's established outside of the field. Maybe the thing that brought us together, but it's morphed beyond that. And you walk into a space with the right amount of respect and intention, but you're also having fun. Like, how many times have we gone to a place and we spend more time cracking jokes, or like at the GRCC, we're jumping on the trampoline, we're playing with hula hoops, and we're just like cutting up. But that is a high vibrational thing.
And
that's me and Zach.
They are absolutely loving it.
Exactly. So it's
because they're loving it.
Right. Because you're bringing an energy to them that is, one, high vibrational, which is easier to tap into always.
Yes, always.
Two, the people in that space all truly love each other as friends and, close, we spend a lot of time together. I think those kinds of relationships come through. It doesn't have to be serious all the time. And of course, the respect is always there, right? But I think there's always exceptions. Like when we went to Miss Lizzie's coffee shop and talked to Miss Liza in the basement, obviously that is a very serious conversation. You have to read the room, right? And when you're walking,
no different than actually like wanting to communicate with living human beings.
Facts.
It's no different.
No.
But even
go into these spaces if there were living human beings.
Even going to somebody's house, though, once everybody's introduced and we break the ice, I always try to keep it light with the family.
Mm-hmm.
Just for no other reason, because they will, we read each other's energy.
Mm-hmm.
And if I'm a great believer, if I go in, I want to be the calmest guy in the room.
Mm-hmm.
Because the people who have some anxiety are going to feed off that. Well, he's not freaking out, so so it creates that kind of comfort thing, and the next thing you know, I'd love a cup of coffee, and and then you just keep it light, and then you go about the serious work you have to do,
right?
Documenting and figuring things out, no question about
it.
But so again, I guess. Again, we circle back to the idea of creating thought forms, physical forms, atmosphere, vibration, whatever you want to call it, auras, whatever you want to call it.
Yep.
We are capable of doing some really dumb shit.
Very dumb and damaging shit. Yep.
True story.
Yeah. We really are in the interest of what? Entertaining? It's fine. If you want to create a monster for a horror movie, that's fine.
Right.
But why create one in a place? I mean, I go back to the original, this idea with The Conjuring with Bathsheba Sherman. And I mean, this is a woman who existed, who didn't kill anybody.
Yeah.
And you absolutely destroy her name.
Yeah.
People are still,
I know,
debating this woman,
and she never lived there. Just to clarify, and people forget that property used to be 1,000 acres. So yes, she might have lived next door, but I promise you, she didn't live in Patrick's house right next door. Like we know that, like literally right next door. And that's what's dangerous about misinformation. Not only damaging to the spirit and what should have been their rest, right? But then also, like, for us to clarify things, like people like, oh, well, she lived next door. You can't go knock on Pat's door, or the guy across the street next door in the 1600s might have meant like half a
30 miles that way.
So much bigger. It was so much bigger back then, and that house might not even be like. People have to pay attention. They have to be respectful. And when you go into a place and stir up a bunch of bullshit, you've now left that for either the homeowner or the location owner to clean that up. And that is
my biggest issue.
And Christian does the same thing.
It's my biggest issue with that kind of stuff. It's why I'm very particular when History of a Haunting does an event. Hi, sweetheart. When we do an event that I know, and if I don't know the people that are coming, like they've been in friends of friends of friends, that they're vetted and trusted by the people that I do know, because I'm not going to take people into these locations that are going all aggressive, stir stuff up, bring in that, because when we are done, we leave, and then the staff and the owners have to deal with the bullshit that we created.
Right.
That's one of my biggest peeves. And I have on the day of investigations that people have paid like $100 to attend, I've been like, you can't come.
Yeah.
But Carrie, how many places have you gone to where the owners and staff are the ones that
Are perpetrating
Or
it?
creating it.
Yeah. I mean, here's a place that's allegedly haunted, and you're walking through and you see a doll with a bloody knife. Like, who the hell put that there?
Right.
Yeah.
Or, you know, or the different things that they use. And it's just kind of like,
Yep.
right away, I'm sorry, red flag on that.
Yes.
It's just, you know, and I'm not even talking about you're bringing negativity. I'm just kind of like, I don't need this. I
Right.
don't need any of it.
Yeah, you're
No
setting
need the
up
dolls.
negativity for us.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, then fine. Dress people up and have them jump out at people and turn it into a haunted house. You
Yeah.
just do
That's
that.
another thing I'm not a big fan of. Especially
No.
like,
Just do that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
you know, I mean,
yeah,
At the end of the
it
day,
exists, but I don't like it.
at the end of the day, don't be a dick.
and we've lost the plot.
Right.
Like the industry's lost the plot, and it's because there's new generations of folks coming in.
Mm-hmm.
We just talked about that. You know, everything's a demon. They want it to be a demon. This, that, and the other thing. When these very same people that are millionaires now
Mm-hmm.
would not know what the fuck to do if it were an actual demon.
Right.
Yeah. Right.
Like,
And that I think is, and you kind of hit on it earlier, Carrie, is like, in a situation like that, when you are out of your element, you have to admit that you are out of your element. You are not. I'm a big proponent of staying in your lane, right? Like,
oh yeah,
I am very, most of the time, I think, except when it comes to admin stuff, then I rule that roost. But that doesn't involve anybody else on the spirit end. But for me, it's like, if I'm in trouble and I'm having issues, I'm not going to start Googling how to fix it. I'm going to call the people that I know, like Ken or Zaffis or Michelle or the Heinzens, people who know a hell of a lot more about how to handle certain situations than I do, so that I, one, don't make it worse for myself. And then two, I certainly don't want to make it worse for the spirit or a location. You got to know when you're out of your element, and you also have to know when to stay in your own damn lane.
Yeah. It doesn't make you look brave when you're like, there's a demon here.
Yeah.
You know, my fucking ass would be in my car and halfway home if we found out there was a fucking demon somewhere.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.
I'm out of here.
Chris has a question.
Good, because you guys got to pull cards. I'm used to doing a 2-hour show. So I'm going to answer Chris's question, let you pull cards, and I'm getting the hell out of here, or else, you know, it'll be like, really?
We'll
It's 11 o'clock?
We'll pull cards next week. I mean, we don't have to pull cards tonight.
Guys, if you want us to pull cards, let's ask the audience. We'll do it.
Okay.
All right. We'll do that then. All right. This is Chris's question, and then if Ken doesn't hype himself up, I'm going to do it for him.
Yes, we're going to do it for him.
Is there a questionnaire that you all use for the homeowners to complete before you go on investigations? There needs to be some guidelines that they need to follow. Ken, take it away, good sir.
Yes.
I used to have a questionnaire, but two things, Chris. For one thing, I know the questionnaire from top to bottom because I created it with a psychologist. And there are certain questions in there that you're being analyzed, but you don't know you're being analyzed to find out what the severity or the credibility of it is.
Yeah.
But I know those questions from top to bottom, so I don't really have to have anybody fill them out. The second reason is that I think you have to read the room, right? Because if you give somebody a questionnaire, those questions are there. I would rather ask them personally to hear the inflection in their voice, or face to face to read their body language.
Yeah.
And there are certain questions that I may not follow up on, that I might leave out. Depending on the age of the person, I'm not going to ask them if, if there's a bad dynamic at home, or you're using drugs, or anything like that. Those are things I need to know about if they exist. But when you're in front of a person, again, like I said, you can read the room. Like, I don't have to ask this. One of the things I like to do, Chris, is have someone tell me their complete story. And sometimes I regret it because it could take an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And the reason I do that is I let them tell their story before I ask questions, because I don't want to give any leading questions.
Yeah.
For example, if they say A, B, C, D, and E happened, okay. Anything else? No. Okay. And I say, have you ever seen a full-bodied apparition? And they go, oh, yeah, I've seen one of those, but they never told me. Then I know something's up, because to me, that would be what you led with, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, holy shit, I saw a woman walk through my living room.
Right.
So I let them tell their story first.
Yeah.
And that way I can, again, read the room, where I don't really have to ask about that. And I don't really have to ask about this, or anything like that. So, you kind of wing it a little bit. I get to know what I absolutely need to know without being judgmental. Like, if you're using drugs or whatever, I need to know, because I may have to talk to our medical person. It's like, hey, they're using this and this and this. What do you think?
Yeah.
Those kind of things. But, you got to build up a rapport first, because if you do have to get into the personal questions, then you have to let them know, I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah.
I'm not here to judge you.
Yeah, because a lot of folks aren't going to answer those questions, especially to people that they don't know.
They're going to shut down.
They're going to shut down.
Yeah. Well, but I think the other thing that Ken does, you might get mad at me, but I don't care. So when I first started kind of doing some work for Ken, and I kind of de facto got to be a part with Rise Up, one of my questions was, is there something I can review? Do you have like a checklist or something I can look at so I kind of know what to do? And he sends me this, I don't know, what is it, like 78-page Rise Up manual that he has built over the years that addresses decorum and types of houses, types of hauntings, questions to ask the homeowner. Like, it's a whole thing, and it's a really good read, because I feel like that shows the amount of integrity. And of course, all the investigators need to read that manual, and I still have it on my phone. But it shows the integrity that you're already leading with when you're going into an investigation, especially when you're obviously with private investigations.
Yeah.
It's a great rule of thumb for, and a great thing to have easy access to. And it kind of sets the standard with your group.
Like, right. As how serious we take this.
Yeah.
This is how, I bet I think
it's
everybody
really damn
needs
good
to
read.
have that, and less contracts that they make their investigators sign.
If anybody ever wants to read it, I'll be happy to send it to you, but I'm not going to, because the world doesn't need one more how to ghost hunt manual.
I wish you'd stop saying that, because I don't think that's true.
No,
I don't think that's true either. I think they need more of them.
The world doesn't need one more of those things.
Well, most people don't have the experience that you have, so I will always.
Yeah, and that's the reason why we're in this demon mess that we're in, because nobody had the manual.
Exactly.
Oh, that.
It's your fault, Ken.
Way to go.
What a Stugotz I am.
Oh my God. I love it.
All right, guys, any other questions?
Yeah, does anybody have any more questions? And Carrie and I will do the, what do we want to do? Our sweary affirmations, and I'll pull one from my deck, and then we can save our new thing.
We'll do the shadow work next week, in a regularly scheduled programming. No, Programming.
Use your words, Carrie.
Chris, be careful what you ask for.
Well, Chris, for the record, she obviously is a moderator for the farm, but she also has been doing, like providing history on locations all over the place. So Chris is very much into research.
Chris does a great
job. So lovely. She's so lovely. And every time I see her name, I feel a little more connected to Arizona. We're starting to feel a little homesick, which is fine. We've been here for like 4.5 years. We're always homesick, but we haven't been home in a long time. So when I see Chris, I'm like, Arizona.
By the way, shout out to Cody and Satori tonight. I forgot.
Oh yes. Hello, guys.
Yeah. Which funny enough,
we're thinking of you on the way to Iowa.
I think they were doing a live, I think, earlier. I don't know if they're still live now, but they keep an eye out for that if that video posts back up, if they're still recording. I don't know if they are or not, but I think they're at Bachelor's Grove tonight.
I hope you guys had fun. Cool. I had fun. I had fun coming on talking about some of this stuff. And
we definitely want to keep doing this. Like Aaron said in the beginning, both of our shows, Extremely Strange and Well, That Was Weird, they're kind of, part and parcel, they kind of go together. So
yeah, they do.
Right. I mean, there is, and especially in a format like you have, some of these things aren't, and there was a ghost in my house. And some of these things have to do with the metaphysical, the subconscious, the psychic, the, everything else like that. So, I enjoy talking about them because, again, I love the feedback. I appreciate the likes and everything like that. But I like to know what people think.
Yeah. Yeah. And like
Yeah.
you said, like the discourse is really nice to have.
It is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, and we always get to learn because, again, we are always learning. And that includes, hopefully, all of us who do shows and who are trying to reach out and help people. Like, we are still learning. We are still human. We're not perfect. We don't even remotely close to know all of it about all the things, because if we did, we'd all need a new hobby. So to be able to get to learn is always a highlight for me.
Plus, also, it makes life super interesting.
I thank you so very much for the opportunity to come on. Love spending time with the girls. And everybody out there, hope you enjoyed it. Something a little bit different. I am going to take my leave and let you close up your show. But thank you so much. I enjoyed this, and I would love to do it anytime that something comes down that you say, hey, that's our thing. Let's go there.
You may have created a monster. So it's if we have you come on all the time, it's your own damn fault.
Yeah, kind of.
Okay, very good.
Yeah. Give Dawn a big hug for me.
Will do. I'm going to go get another chocolate chip cookie. She's baking tonight.
She makes such
good man.
Yeah, right?
Well, you know what? I still have a little over 2 hours before Taylor's album drops, so maybe I'll make some chocolate chip cookies.
Well, see, I'm sealing a driveway. I'm doing a lot of work, so I'm going to go collect my husband tax.
Oh, okay. There you go. There you go.
Hey, all the best.
Thanks,
Don't forget
Ken.
to subscribe. See you later.
Bye.
All right, guys, stick with us. We are not quite done with the show yet. We've got some cards to do. And are we doing the thing?
No.
Okay.
I don't have the thing. We'll save that for next time.
We're saving the thing. There's a thing.
We're saving the thing. We will get into that eventually.
Next week. You guys are going to get real tired of us 3 weeks in a row.
Yeah, I agree. I know. Unless Cody and Satori end up coming back after a long week and want to be like, yeah, we want to do a show, but I bet they're going to be real tired.
That's a long drive.
It's a long drive.
For sure.
It's about the same. It's not quite as long as it was for me to drive from Rhode Island or from Florida to Rhode Island, but it's real close.
It's real close. Also,
okay. So we're going to do our usual. You want to go first? You want me to go first?
You can go first.
All right. So I have a weird process of cutting my deck, so I never ask. I always do it the same way, which I know sounds really bizarre. All right.
Just whatever flows through you.
All right. So this one is Fall Into My Arms. Of course, the words are tiny. I need to start posting mine on the group chat. I'm terrible about that. It says surrender, holding the opposites, extremes of life. Where's my book?
Sounds like it's going to be completely on point with
Once
And I
shocking,
show.
it always is. Okay, so here's what this one says. The Great Mother ushered you in when you took your first breath, and she'll be there when you draw your last. She knows how challenging life can be, that being human can be lonely and confusing, that the polarity and separation can be excruciating when your soul remembers the oneness of Source. But at the same time, it can be incredibly glorious and sweet. So often we see things as either good or bad. When things go well, we make it mean that we're being rewarded. And when things are bad, then perhaps we've done something wrong. However, we're all here to expand and grow. And it's through the extremes of life that we do exactly that. You're being invited to welcome the highs and the lows of the human experience. Here we go.
Wow.
To let them initiate you more fully into life, the agony and the ecstasy, the beauty and the bitterness. This life is but a single breath in the inextinguishable existence of your experience. God, that's a lot of X words. Inextinguishable existence of your experience as a soul. The Great Mother wants you to hand over your loneliness, worries, hurt, sorrows, fears, burdens, and doubts, to lay them on her altar, to fall fully into her arms, to remember that while these extremes are difficult, they can also be magnificent. The more wildly the pendulum of your life swings, the more truthfully you can say, I've truly lived.
I like it.
I like it too.
I like it.
What you got, hot stuff?
It is right on brand with the topics of the show tonight.
Not surprising. This one's always good.
No, it's always amazing. All right, I'm going to call on a person, and it's going to be Chris. Chris, should I pull from the top or should I cut the deck? I don't know if she's been here for our sweary affirmations. I generally ask the audience which we should do, but Chris Timmons, I'm asking you, should I cut the deck or pull from the top?
Let's see if she pops in. I'm going to throw some nice comments up in the meantime.
Okay.
You don't have to lie to us, Joe. It's fine.
Let me know.
Or Chris. You don't have to lie to us either.
Yeah.
Hi, Jason.
Cut the deck. Okay, cut the deck.
Cut the deck.
I say challenge us, have a show every week and see if we get tired of you.
What you wish for, Jason.
Listen, don't threaten us with a good time. All right, we're cutting the deck. What do we have here? Okay. Wow, all right. It's a slop.
I love slops.
Fucking menu done. Do you know what you have to fucking achieve? Have you made a fucking plan? Start now before you stay stuck exactly where you are now. You owe yourself this fucking much. Focus, eliminate the shit that is distracting you, and take action. You've got places to go, but you need to fucking move to make it happen.
I love it.
I love it. I'm taking a picture of it now. I'm posting it in the group. Thank you, Chris. If that resonates with you guys this week, because it sure does for me.
Me too.
You put your hand, like a little heart emoji in the chat, or wait a minute, what am I doing? I'm just putting my cards in the wrong place.
What planet am I on? What day is
I
it?
don't even know what the fuck
What time is it?
I've got 11 weeks of vendor shows that I'm trying to get ready for, and oh god, oh geez, oh man.
Well, and on that note, before we leave, I know you've got 11 weeks worth of vendor shows going up. I had a job interview today and another job interview tomorrow, so you would love to get my
job, like second interview or different job?
The one today, it was in person. I think it went well, so we'll see.
Cool.
It's very close to the house, which is even better because for the entire state of Maine, the closer I can work to this house, the better. The safety of all Mainers involved in the middle of winter. You don't want a crazy Floridian driving around in crazy snow. So all the good vibes for hopefully a job for me, and then all the good vibes for Carrie's next 11 weeks of vendor shows.
Seriously. Oh, also, guys, I know that just last week we were like, Carrie, or a week before, Carrie's got a job. She's driving with Amazon. Yeah, she's not doing that anymore. I love that job. And here's why. I don't know if you guys know it, but your Amazon delivery drivers do not actually work for Amazon. The Amazon contracts out a lot of different logistics trucking companies that hire the drivers. And so we work for that company. We just deliver for Amazon. We represent Amazon. So I never worked for Amazon. I worked for a logistics trucking company. And this particular one, and I guess it's common. I've never been a delivery driver like this, so I didn't know. But this particular company that I worked for, they always overstaffed because they wanted to make sure that they had drivers available if somebody like called in or if you were late. If you were late, your route was given away.
Right.
So unfortunately, they would overstaff. And so I went into work 2 days in a row to find I didn't have a route. So if you go in and they're like, we don't have a route for you, you have to go home.
And you need to clarify how far you were driving.
Yes.
To get told that there was no route.
Yes. So my warehouse was in Durham, and it's 35 miles one way.
Right.
To drive in to be told I didn't have a route, and then go home.
Right.
And you have to do this every day. You've got to show up every day, and maybe you have a route, maybe you don't. I got out of training. I did my ride along. Everything was great. I show up for my first shift by myself. We don't have a route for you.
Right.
70 miles I drove to be told I didn't have work that day. Next day, same thing. Nope, not doing it. I can't afford it.
No.
One, 70 miles, 140 miles I drove.
That's insane.
It cost me money. If I did that dashing, you know how much money I could have made 140 miles?
A lot.
So I'm very upset about the whole thing is that wasn't explained in the interview, certainly wasn't told to us in training. I didn't find out any of this until I actually got on with my ride along, and my driver trainer was telling me about it that day we did a full route.
Yeah.
No idea. And apparently then after I was telling my mom about it, she Googled the company and she was like, apparently this is very common. This is very common. And it's one of the complaints that employees have left. The company had a 2.1 star rating. I didn't know that it wasn't Amazon exactly. It was just they contract out these logistics companies for their drivers. So the drivers that you see, I still stand by that. What I put on Facebook, be kind to your delivery drivers because it's a really fucking hard job. Yeah. I think I'm kind of butthurt too that I was so excited to get that exercise in. I was like, I'm going to lose weight. This is going to be great. I'm going to lift. I'm going to be strong. And now I was out the window. So,
well, I think all that means is that there's something better on the horizon.
1,000%. 1,000%. It didn't that was the one thing. Well, that and the pay, but the pay wasn't going to be consistent either. Yeah. And the insurance, we get paid weekly, so the insurance was coming out of our paychecks weekly. And for me and my son is on it, that's $133 a week. Well, if I only get one or two routes, I'm not going to have a check left. Right. After taxes and insurance, here's your $50 paycheck. No.
Right.
So it just wasn't a job for me. So I'm focusing on my 11 weeks of vendor shows because I love to do vendor shows. They are where I shine. I love to meet all of the customers. We've got a bunch of fun new products. And so I'm excited about it. And then, you know what, still door dashing and still making really good money and,
Yeah. And the right thing will come.
Yeah.
And, in the meantime, we'll just keep manifesting the good shit and,
for sure.
Hit us up with any questions in the group chat or in the group Facebook page. And thanks for putting up with us 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah. We'll see you next week.
Yes. We love you guys.
We love you guys. Bye.
And